Cooking at home. Hello, I'm Elke Wilder from BohemianElk.com, and today we're going to make some sauerkraut. And I've already got this started here. If anyone knows anything about sauerkraut, you know it's made with cabbage and salt, and those are the most essential ingredients, but there's lots of things you can add to it. This one today I'm keeping pretty simple. I'm adding just a parsnip and some preserved lemon. And so I'm going to finish chopping up the cabbage. And I'm just using one head of cabbage. Chopping that up. And you can kind of chop it up any way you want. You can experiment and see what works best for you in different batches and see if you like it super thin or a little bit thicker. I used to think it only came out really well if you sliced it super thin, but I've been shown by friends of mine that that's not really the case. So I've been having fun playing around with different textures. I really love to use whole slices of root vegetables, and this is something I picked up from my friends Monica and Kat in Ashland, and it's really, really fun to put whole slices of turnips or parsnips or beets in the sauerkraut. This is parsnip we're using today. I might have already mentioned that. And so far, what's already in the jar already has kind of like 2/3 of a tablespoon of salt. So I'm going to put the last third of a tablespoon of salt into this. Mix it in. And then it probably looks like this is not going to fit in that jar. So this is kind of the fun part, or what I think is the fun part of sauerkraut, is how much cabbage you can actually pack into a jar. It's pretty cool. So I'm just using this wooden spoon and packing it in. It's even better if you have something that has like a flat end or a mallet or a pestle of some sort. So now that I'm getting to where it's a little bit harder, I'm going to stick my hand in there and pack it a little bit more. But check it out. It's like barely half full now. Kind of amazing. All right, so now we can fit the rest of this bowl into the jar. No problem. Got to do it in stages, but yeah, I usually take out the funnel when I'm doing the packing part. It's a little easier, and you always kind of strew some all over the counter while you're doing it. It's just kind of part of the fun. And as the salt works into the cabbage, it will create a liquid that's called brine, which is simply salty water. And the brine is what makes sauerkraut sauerkraut. The probiotic bacteria get going in it, and that's what preserves the vegetables so that you can keep this at room temperature for days and days and just eat on it whenever you want. It keeps a little bit better if you keep it refrigerated. But if you're in a situation where you're camping or anything like that, it's great to know that you can have ready-made fresh vegetables any time of day or night, even without a refrigerator. If you have sauerkraut around, it's pretty cool. All right, here's the last bit. There we go. Yeah, easily fit into the jar. And what I'm going to do now is just let this sit for a while after I pack it down a little bit more. And then as I'm doing other stuff in the kitchen, every so often I'll just take this tool and push on a little bit, and that'll help the brine get flowing. And before long, there'll be a brine that will come up all the way up to here above the cabbage. It just takes a little while and a little bit of pushing on the cabbage. And that's really all there is to it. Then it just needs to sit until there's bubbles that come up to the surface. And that usually takes 2 or 3 days in the spring and fall. 2 days probably in the heat of the summer if your kitchen's kind of warm. And in the winter, it might take an extra day or two because it's really temperature dependent. But yeah, super simple, super yummy. All right. Thanks so much for watching.